Okay, I have another witness if you guys are ready. Yeah. I would call Cydney Howard. She should be available online.
Yes, hello, I'm here.
Hi, Cydney. Cydney,
Hi.
could you state your name for the record?
Yeah, my name is Cydney Howard, last name Howard.
And where do you currently work?
Currently, I'm an incoming cyber response associate for the firm KPMG in Chicago.
And you recently, oh, did we not swear her in? Let's do that.
Ma'am, will you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give here will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Cydney, where do you currently work?
Currently, I'm an incoming cyber response associate for the firm KPMG in Chicago.
And you recently graduated from college, correct?
Yes, I did. I graduated from the University of Notre Dame this May.
And what did you major in at Notre Dame?
I majored in psychology, and I had two minors, the Russian language and then computing and digital technologies with a specialization in cybersecurity.
And when you were in college, did you work?
Yes, I did. I worked for the St. Joseph County Cybercrimes Unit.
And what was your position there? And when did you work there?
I was a student investigator, and I began working there my sophomore year and worked there for the next 3 years.
I think you were a little drowned out. You worked there for how much? For how long?
3 years. I began my sophomore year.
And in your position as a student investigator, were you a sworn law enforcement officer?
Yes, I was sworn in as a student investigator by the St. Joseph County prosecutor, Ken Cotter.
As a student investigator, what were your job responsibilities?
My primary responsibility was conducting forensic examinations on digital evidence from active case investigations.
Have you received any specialized training for digital forensics?
Yes, I have. I've received approximately 630 hours of training related to technology, programming, and digital forensics. These include industry courses as well as academic courses, basic and advanced courses related to conducting forensics on digital devices, including cell phones, computers, and cloud-based evidence. And some of the academic courses that I've taken include advanced digital forensics, privacy and security, cybercrime and the law, elements of computing 1 and 2, technology as a profession, special projects in cybercrime and cyber law, advanced special projects in cybercrime and cyber law, and the forensic psychology in cybercrime as well.
May I interrupt for just a second? Ms. Howard, you speak very fast, and your words are getting a little blurred here. If you could speak slower, we would all appreciate it.
Yes, Your
Thank
Honor.
you.
I can do that.
Along with the coursework and training that you have had, do you hold any digital forensic certifications?
Yes, I do. For the past 3 years, I've had the Magnet Certified Forensics Examiner certification.
Approximately how many devices have you conducted digital forensics on?
Approximately 50.
You mentioned that your primary responsibility is conducting digital forensics examinations. Does this include computers and cell phones?
Yes, it does.
Could you tell us a little bit about how the digital forensics process works?
We follow the same 3-step process for all examinations: acquisition, parsing, and analysis. With acquisition, we pull all of the data off of a device that we can. It's pulled off into one large file that is unreadable to humans. We then parse that data, and during parsing, all the data is placed into human-readable categories like text messages, pictures, contacts. Once processing is complete, then we conduct analysis. And based on the investigation, we review the data and tag items that are of evidentiary value in the investigation.
In your job at the Cybercrimes Unit, did you have occasion to become involved in an investigation involving Joy Phillips?
Yes, I did.
And what was your involvement with the case involving Joy Phillips?
On November 9th of 2022, Sergeant Scott Claybaugh of the Elkhart Police Department to conduct digital forensics exams on 2 items of digital evidence, and I was assigned the examination.
Okay. And what was your... Okay. Do you remember specifically what those items were?
Yes, there was a Rhino Tab laptop computer and an Apple iPhone 12.
And when submitting the case for examination, did Detective Claybaugh provide any further context?
Yes, he said that the case was related to an internal investigation involving a detective at the Elkhart Police Department, and that the digital devices were owned by the city of Elkhart and they had been issued to the detective.
Did Detective Claybaugh provide the name of the detective at the time of submission?
He did not. In the report that he submitted, the detective's name, badge number, date of birth, and unit were all redacted.
Did you ultimately determine the user of the devices?
Yes, I did. I determined the user to be Joy Phillips.
And how did you determine this?
When conducting analysis, part of what we look for on the device is identifiers. And I found that the primary user account associated with the computer was /PhilJoy. The computer was also configured with logins for Beacon Health and evidence.com. The username for both of these was joy.phillips@elkhartpolice.org. There was also a Pinterest account configured with the username cjjg626@yahoo.com. And then for the phone, it was configured with an email address of cjjg626@yahoo.com and included a real name of Joy Phillips.
And how did the cybercrimes unit receive these devices, and what was done with them when they were received?
Both devices were delivered on November 11th of 2022 by Sergeant Claybaugh, and the evidence intake was conducted by Investigator Christine Van Kurt.
And what was done with the items once they were received as evidence?
For the computer, Cybercrime's Executive Director Mitch Kaiser removed the hard drive and conducted a forensic acquisition of the drive. For the phone, Cybercrime's co-director Mariah Donnelly conducted a file system acquisition. All the data that could be pulled from the devices was acquired, and these two acquisition files were then copied to my forensics computer. Executive Director Kaiser parsed the acquisition from the computer, and I parsed the acquisition from the phone. And both of them were parsed using the program Magnet Forensics Axiom.
And parsing the files puts everything into human readable form, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And once parsing was complete, was there information pulled from the computer to be analyzed? And if so, approximately how much information?
Yes, from the computer, there was approximately 813,000 items to be analyzed.
And how about from the phone?
It was approximately 276,000 items.
You can't possibly look at every single item for analysis. Could you tell us a little about how you conduct analysis?
Absolutely. We first learn everything about the case that we can. This information comes from paperwork submitted by the officer, so in this case, Sergeant Claybaugh, along with speaking to the officer. And once we learn about the case and speak with the officer, we use sorting, filtering, and searching techniques that help focus in on the data related to the investigation.
Once you began your analysis, what types of information did you analyze?
I analyzed a broad range of items, including pictures, videos, audio files, email, web history, and operating system files as well.
Was there any date or time information for any of the items to be analyzed?
Yes, there was.
Could you tell us a little bit about how the date and timestamps are generated?
Absolutely. When information like pictures, emails, videos are created, modified, or even accessed, date and timestamps are created and updated based on the current time on the computer or phone. A computer receives the time automatically from a Windows time server, and a phone receives the date and time automatically from the cellular network.
In your experience, have you found date and timestamps on computers and cell phones to be accurate?
Yes, I have.
Let's talk about the computer first. In general, do computers keep records of files being downloaded, opened, emailed, and/or saved to either the hard drive or to some other external media, such as a thumb drive?
Yes, they do. There are detailed operating system files that keep that type of information.
Did you locate any information indicating that the computer was used to log into the site evidence.com?
Yes, I did. There was history indicating that the account joy.phillips at elkhartpolice.org had logged into evidence.com. This was the only user account with login.
And when Joy Phillips was logged into evidence.com, was there any information indicating that evidence files were accessed and downloaded to the computer?
Yes, there was. There were records indicating that files were accessed and downloaded to the computer.
Do you remember any of the specific file names for some of these files?
Absolutely. There were a number of them, but some of them, they were all numbers.pdf. So some of them were 2022, 07, 12, 021, and they all have that same beginning. But some of them end in 12021, some of them end in 22002, some of them end in 01009, but they're all the same numeric string followed by .pdf.
Where were these files saved to on the computer?
They were saved to the desktop and downloads folder of the user account PhilJoy.
And once the files were on the computer, was there any evidence of them being opened?
Yes, there was. And every time that a file is opened, there are several artifacts that are created to indicate that. And our records indicate that over 256 files were opened.
Was there any evidence that the files being saved anywhere other than on the computer hard drive?
Yes, there were over 100 different files that were saved to and opened from multiple external thumb drives and hard drives as well.
Did records show the names of those drives?
Yes, there was a Seagate portable drive, there was a store and go, USB disk, WS_600S, V508, Evister L157, and there was one called EPD Lab as well.
Were you able to determine the user that was associated with those devices?
Yes, the account user was PhilJoy.
Did you locate any other external devices that were plugged into the computer and were associated with the user account PhilJoy?
Yeah, there were 18 external devices associated with the account.
And did you locate any files in the recycle bin of the computer?
Yes, there were 85 files in the recycle bin, and of those, 72 of them were associated with the account PhilJoy.
What types of files were in the recycle bin?
There were multiple types, including .pdf, videos, and Word documents as well.
And where were these files originally saved on the computer?
Some were from the desktop of the account PhilJoy, and then 58 of them were from an app data directory that's associated with the account PhilJoy of Windows/burn/burn.
And what is the significance of that directory?
This is a temporary directory that's automatically created by Microsoft when a user burns files to a CD or DVD. The folder temporarily stores all the files that are being burned to the DVD.
Did you locate software to burn DVDs on the computer?
Yes, the program was FoxBurner.
And were you able to determine that the last time that program was run?
Yes, it was last run on August 24th of 2022.
On the computer, did you locate any information of files being emailed to anyone?
There were only 2 documents that were sent as attachments in email. On August 8th of 2022, an email was sent from joy.phillips at elkhartpolice.com to chris.seymour at elkhartpolice.org, sorry, not .com, and jason.ray at elkhartpolice.org. This email contained an attachment named grievance letter. This email also included a blind carbon copy to the email cjjg626@yahoo.com. And then on September 22nd of 2022, an email was received by the address joy.phillips at elkhartpolice.org from that Yahoo email of cjjg626. And it contained an attachment named amended grievance-detectivephillips.pdf.
I would now like to direct your attention to the Apple iPhone 12. Did you locate any phone numbers that contained information related to the investigation?
Yes, on September 28th of 2022, in response to a text message from phone number 574-360-7152, the user of the iPhone responded, "Text me at 574-532-2754. This number you're contacting me is my work phone." I apologize, stumbling over words.
And were you able to determine the accounts associated with either of those numbers?
Yes. The number 574-360-7152 is a Verizon phone with a subscriber name of James Ballard. And then the number 574-532-2754 is an AT&T phone with a subscriber name of Joy Phillips.
And did you locate any text messages between the iPhone 12 and the phone of Joy Phillips?
Yes, there were 6 messages that were received by the work phone from the personal phone. And there were 47 messages that were sent from the work phone to the personal phone of Joy Phillips.
And did any of these messages include pictures or videos?
Yes, they all did. There were 47 pictures and 5 videos.
Did you determine what these pictures and videos were?
Yes, the metadata is that the pictures and videos were taken using the Apple iPhone 12, the work phone. Majority of them are pictures and videos taken of information being displayed on a computer screen. And the others are pictures and one video of a phone with text messages displayed on them.
In addition to the pictures and videos sent from the iPhone 12 to the phone of Joy Phillips, did you locate any other information related to any pictures or videos being sent from the phone to anyone else?
Yes, I located a video that was sent via email.
And could you tell us what that is?
Yes, on August 19th of 2022, around 12:20 p.m., the email address of Joy Phillips, the CJJG626@yahoo.com, sent an email to Dan Pfeiffer at dpfeiffer@pilawyers.com, and Jeff McQuarrie, jmcquarrie@btlaw.com. And the subject line of this email was Sergeant Young in-car camera, and the email included a video attachment named IMG_0033.MOV.
And what did that video depict?
According to the metadata, it was recorded with the work phone, and the recording appeared to be a video playing on a computer screen. The video being recorded indicated that it was from an Axon camera assigned to Dustin Young, and it appeared to be shot from the inside of a vehicle. Watermarks on the screen indicated that the video was being played from evidence.com, and the account logged in at that time was Joy Phillips.
Did you locate the video IMG_0033.MOV on the iPhone 12?
Yes, I did. It was on the camera roll of the phone.
Did you determine whether this video was recorded?
Yes, so the video is approximately 5 minutes and 12 seconds in length, and the recording began on August 19, 2022 at 12:12:44 seconds, and ended at 12:17:57 p.m.
I pass the witness.
Excuse me. Good afternoon.
Good
just
afternoon.
a couple questions for you. What does your division usually investigate?
Our division investigates all kinds of cases. Typically, we emphasize in active criminal investigations for the northern Indiana area.
Okay. Does that typically include, illicit materials, pornography, things of that sort?
Yes, it does.
Now, you didn't find anything like that on Joy Phillips' computer, did you?
Depending on your definition of illicit, I did not find any pornography on the computer.
Okay. Is it possible that that she had a picture of a shooting victim who was unclothed?
I don't recall that being
okay. But other than that, there was no. But you found no pornography on her devices.
No, I did not.
Okay. In your report, I believe you state that the computer information that you documented was from March 1st, 2021, and completed on December 9th, 2022. Does that time frame sound correct?
Let me reference my report just a moment here. Which computer information specifically are you looking for?
What you recovered.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Yes. Let me just rephrase the question. The report advises that the date of the incident. I'm not hearing
any of the things that his microphone is saying.
Yes. The report advises that the date of incident was October 21st, 2022.
I can see that you're trying to say something, and I'm not hearing anything.
Can you hear me a bit better now?
No, but I can see that they're filtering it out.
Okay. How about now?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you.
All right. Great. You're in the report that you prepared a report as a result of this request from the department, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Okay. In that report, you indicate that the date of the incident was October 21st, 2022. Is that right?
Yes, and that was provided using information when the case request was submitted by Sergeant Claybaugh.
Okay. So what was the incident?
To my knowledge, I was not given that information. I had just been advised that there was potentially a detective that was downloading videos off of evidence.com, and that was to lead my investigation. That was confidential at the moment, and I was not given details of the incident. I was simply, that information of the date of the incident was taken directly from the request that was submitted by Sergeant Claybaugh.
Oh, okay. Does your report cover information collected over a span of time?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Would that span be from March 1st, 2021 through December 9th, 2022?
Those exact dates, I cannot say that that's exactly the information that we tagged, but I can say that that was a period of interest, absolutely. Because there was no expectation of privacy, considering that the city owned the devices, there was no specific warrant date associated.
Okay, so but your report covers a period of over a year.
Correct.
Does your report recognize that the computer, the laptop, did not have a hard drive, so the only way to connect to it would be through a USB drive?
In order to conduct analysis on the computer, we removed the hard drive from the computer and acquired it directly from the hard drive.
Okay. Excuse me, disk drive. It would have no way to read CDs or discs. Is that correct?
It might be. I can't say for certain because I was dealing with the analysis portion of the case. I did not do the acquisition. That was conducted by Executive Director Mitch Kaiser.
Okay. So you don't know how one would get data in or out of that hard drive because you didn't have the computer itself?
I know that the hard drive can be removed from the computer because that's how we conducted analysis on it.
Okay. Would you have any reason to disagree with me if I said that the computer does not have a disk drive other than...
I would not be able to say for certain because I didn't see the physical computer. I saw all of the data that we pulled off of that physical computer.
Okay. Would it be unreasonable to believe that a police detective who has over 200 cases a year would connect a USB drive to her laptop?
I'm not familiar with the procedures of police, but I cannot have an opinion on that. Sorry.
Okay. Would it be unreasonable to believe that a police detective who conducts background investigations while carrying her caseload would have to view all of her evidence and background information on a USB, through a USB and DVDs?
It's entirely possible.
In all the information you located, did you find any excessive amount of anything other than videos, emails, and documents or searches that were related to events between the events of July 12th, October 2022 through October 2022?
It depends on your definition of excessive. There was, in my definition of excessive, there was an excessive amount of storage device events going on. There were multiple different storage devices that were being used, and they were being used quite regularly.
Okay. Did you find anything illegal?
I didn't find evidence of certain crimes occurring, I would say. I don't know necessarily what the laws are in Elkhart regarding access or, the manipulation of different files on their network. That's up to them.
Would it surprise you that a police officer who had reported police misconduct would save videos and other documents in order to preserve evidence?
That may be the case. It's just regarding the nature in which those are preserved.
If it were proven that these downloaded videos showed misconduct, would they be covered under the Whistleblower Act?
I'm not familiar with the Whistleblower Act.
Do you know if the Elkhart Police Department has incurred some wrongful convictions?
Objection, irrelevant.
You may answer, Ms. Howard.
I'm not familiar with the Elkhart Police Department, and I don't only work for the Elkhart Police Department. I've only handled a couple cases from them, so I'm not familiar with their policies.
Do you know if the Elkhart Police Department has ever had an experience of being unable of misplacing or losing reports or evidence?
Not to my knowledge.
Would such information have been helpful to your investigation?
I don't believe so. I am an objective finder of truth. I simply look at the digital evidence that is there. And in the case of my job, it's very factual. It either is or isn't there. And I simply look at the digital evidence.
I'd like to refer to the report, I believe, on page 9 in the 4th paragraph. And you've mentioned this a number of times in your testimony, the email that begins with CJJG. Do you recall referencing that email address?
Yes, I've mentioned that a few times.
Okay. Who did you determine that email address belongs to?
I determined that it belonged to Joy Phillips, and that was due to evidence that was found on the phone.
Okay. So she was sending evidence to herself?
It appeared to be that way, yes.
Okay. One final question, Ms. Howard. In the last year, has the Elkhart Police Department asked you to download or run a report on any police officer other than Joy Phillips?
I've conducted investigations that were requested by Elkhart.
I'm sorry, miss, I couldn't hear your answer.
I've worked other cases that were requested by Elkhart officers, but I don't believe that I've conducted an investigation on an officer for the Elkhart Police Department.
Great. No further questions. Thank you, ma'am.
Redirect.
Yes. Just to confirm, did you find evidence that Detective Phillips was sending evidence to persons other than herself?
Yes.
And have you ever conducted investigations into officers on behalf of another police department?
Yes, I have.
No further questions.
One final question, miss. Have you ever been qualified as an expert witness in a court of law?
I've been subpoenaed, but I have not testified, no.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Howard.